You broke my heart one too many times before. I remember times on dance floor. I remember times when you go. Now I'm happy alone. She stole my heart. I can't believe I fell for her tricks. I can't believe I passed on my life. I can't believe the times were like oh so good. No one to tell me how, no one to hurt me now. I thought we said our vows. I miss your disallow. Said my feelings, you got the best of me. Motive was lust, you played me basically. She told me that I'm quite a masochist. Oh I know, I can't believe it still hurts the kiss. So I won't. How could you ever say you wanted this? I should know. How could you ever say you'd rather be alone? Be honest, I'm so glad that I'm on my own. Glad I'm honest. Finally gave time to myself. Yeah, I'm breaking out of my shell.
Baby, no man.
I can't believe you broke my heart one too many times before. I remember times.
Alrighty, thank you for waiting these past few minutes. Welcome back to the 5 United States Cup A stream, where we do have some Major League action. I believe the second of tonight, the first Major League match happening earlier today in NorCal versus Texas earlier this morning for some of you. I mean, I guess that's only morning if you're in Hawaii or Alaska at certain times of year. 19 UTC is still noon, solidly noon on the West Coast. I am your caster, Bless, hosting you for this match at 2 UTC, Colorado versus Alabama in the Major League. Of course, at the same time, we do have another match going on at the B stream. That is going to be Connecticut B versus Georgia B. But for now, we do have to get things underway. Alabama looking to be on a pretty good upswing this year. For the first time ever having a full roster of 6, adding to their longtime core of Itator, Seidu, Faithy, and Mari. 5-3-1. Of course, that is where they started with those 4 all the way back in 2024. I say all the way back, but it was just 2 years ago, and then adding Ubag or IWBag in 2025. And now rounding out the roster of 6 with YTK in 2026. So a little nice progression there. 4 players in 2024, 5 players in 2025, and 6 players in 2026. This is, of course, accompanied with their highest seeding yet, placing 21st in qualifiers, previously seeding 32nd and 29, but looking quite good for themselves this year. Especially when you look at the other side of the aisle and you're looking at a Colorado team which did not look so good last year and this year as well, equally so, dropping out 0-2 after having looked pretty good in 2023 and 2024, finishing 9th through 12th and 17th through 24th respectively, seeding 14th and 20th. But of course, if you do look at that pattern, it is a bit of a downward trend, if you will. So down here in the lower bracket at the moment, going to be trying to keep their tournament hopes alive, as I am just sanity checking myself. And yes, we are in the lower bracket, both of these teams fortunately losing their first round matches. Colorado to Pennsylvania after going all the way to tiebreaker. And then Alabama going down against Georgia. The power of Tarragon a little bit too much up there. We do have the bans already out. It's going to be some DT4 and Hard Rock 3, some gimmickier high AR mechanic maps banned out from the side of Alabama, and then it's going to be the easy one for Colorado, and surprisingly, the Force Mod 1 leaving the Hidden 2 up. Usually we do see those 2 maps banned out together in tandem. But not the case here, and we do see Force Mod 1 out today. It will not be the day we see that map played between these 2 teams, and it is a first pick No Mod 3. No Mod 3, usually not a pick you see too early unless you're really confident on it. Usually it is quite a coin flip pick unless you have those 1 or 2 players who are just super comfortable on No Mod 3, and those players are pretty rare. Even more rare than players who are good at Hidden 2, I would say. Because No Mod 3 is sort of one of those skill sets that everyone can kind of play, but it's really hard to just get super proficient at it to the point where you're able to FC on command or get something like a 700k plus on command. Looking at this Colorado roster, however, they do have, of course, a couple longtime members in Begel and Trex playing every iteration of 5USC all the way back since 2022. The two of them have been there all along as the mainstay duo. This year, of course, they also have the returning player of Mockingjay and 3 new faces, Dead Zoned, Ewat, and 1X, to accompany them. Dead Zoned, formerly 3-digit apparently. I'm not sure how long ago that was, but it does look like those mechanics are going to be carrying over quite nicely. I need Prema lobbies on everything AR10 and below, as we will see him in for that as is stated. Accompanying him, of course, 1X. We're not going to be seeing them here, but later we'll see them in for some reading and tapping maps. And then Ewat will see them in for, well, unfortunately not this no mod, unfortunately for him. But we should see them in for the other no mods as well, some other reading picks, maybe like the Hidden 2 and the Hidden 3. As we are into some swing action. On the other side for Alabama, we do have Mari, quite well-rounded player. Probably going to see him in for a lot of things. Accompanied by YTK and Faithy. Faithy, normally one of the more known for his tapping, of course, getting one of the top 3 scores in one of those speed maps back in 5WC tryouts earlier this year. And unfortunately not the most info on YTK at the moment, the newest player in addition to the Alabama roster. We'll have to see how they fare, and it does look like they're doing quite well for themselves, as are their teammates. Still 3 nice combos holding on side of Alabama into this first PI section. Looking at the other side, and yeah, it is just Begel to hold. Excuse me, as Dead Zone does drop his combo right before the ending there. So small lead to Colorado at the moment, but it is mostly just due to the accuracy, the 99% on Begel and Mockingjay. Now a 98 for Begel, but Dead Zone, another big chain miss on the flow alt there. And the flow patterns do get quite difficult in the latter half of this map. There is one particular pattern that I'm thinking of that is a very long tapping stream. And we're seeing more combos go down on the side of Colorado. It's looking like a pretty good first pick for Alabama. As Faithy, Mari still holding on to their FCs. YTK holding on to very nice recovery. Well. Here we are into some 1-2s. Some snaps on that swing rhythm. Mari and Faithy still holding on, and yeah, this is looking like quite a nice first pick for Alabama. There's not too much to be worried about here, and this little bridge section is quite calm into a little bit of a Ki to close things out, but assuming nothing catastrophic, it should just be a point for Alabama. I mean, Mockingjay and Faithy will trade, but trades are only good for Alabama at this point as they do equalize the score. But that is not a good trade, as both Mari and YTK going down. It is 300,000 score on no mod, but Dead Zoned and Begel holding quite nice combos at the moment. They will have to FC, and we will have to see a couple more breaks from Alabama. But yeah, Begel not quite able to hold on for long enough, as there goes Begel, and there goes Dead Zoned as well on one of those big flow patterns. And yeah, this is looking to be the nice pick for Alabama that we thought it was. Or, excuse me, Colorado. And as it looks like I am just totally getting my colors backwards. Of course, the red team is on the left side. I don't know why I'm thinking elsewhere. Nobody able to hold a combo onto that ending pattern. The flow spacing getting a little bit too big. But, yeah, I just read the red on the flag of Alabama as them being red team and the big blue stripes on Colorado, you know? Looking at the team flags. Right. So, unfortunate first pick for Colorado as it looks like the combo game from Dead Zone's not quite working out. And Faithy and Mari looking incredibly comfortable playing that map and just comboing it. General. We'll take this moment to look up some quick information on the rest of Alabama's team as we just don't have a lot of information on some of these players. Unfortunate as it is. It does look like Seiru is the reading and tapping player for Alabama. Itato, the captain, going to be in for a lot of mechanics heavy picks. And yeah, after winning an alt pick so handily like that, you usually don't see huge score lines like the one we just saw on No Mod 3s. But if you do see them, it's because one team is just that much better on the alt, and it's really hard to overcome that difference. And this pick really making a lot of sense for Alabama after what just happened on the No Mod 3. Okay, so we do have some news on YTK. Looks like they're pretty good on consistency, as they did show some pretty good scores on long marathon maps with a hidden mod, excuse me, during the Osu Civil War event that took place earlier this year. So could be pretty good for this map for Alabama, and Seiru also coming in for a bit of hidden gameplay. So interesting. So yeah, it does make a lot of sense to see those two in the lobby now that we know that about them. And Mari as the all-rounder, gonna be filling in for a lot of these maps for Alabama. Making a lot of sense to see him in here as well. As for the side of Colorado, it's gonna be Bagel in once again, as their main all-rounder. Not going to be seeing Dead Zone, maybe a little bit miffed after that performance on the No Mod 3, not feeling so good about alt today. And Mockingjay in as their hidden player, bit of a hidden specialist, and as is 1X in for some hidden normally as well. So you do have some issues getting some players into the map, but everyone should be loading in quickly. We have seen time and time again this weekend that this map is on the easier side of things, of the pool. The pool being those things. So despite the low seedings, this is still Major League, and I don't doubt that these teams are capable of putting up some quite nice scores on this map, as there's just not a lot to miss on early on, especially in this whole first half of the map or so. It really is just a focus and consistency check-ins. I think with YTK's ability to set marathon scores with the hidden mod, he should be just fine forming here. Mari, of course, with his deep tournament experience, should be just fine as well, just having some low SR consistency. Of course, the map is just 5.57 stars, no mod, and we actually will see the first break coming out from YTK, Marathon player. Ironically, not having the best time with the consistency. But of course, this first TI does come with some difficulties, and it's going to be Mockingjay caught out on the other side with a little bit of a later trade. So all else held equal, the timing of those trades does favor Alabama, and there goes 1x as well. So all else will not be held equal, as that is an advantage in the side of the blue team. Slowly closing now to 30,000, but there goes Sadie as well. And these players struggling a bit more than I would have thought, especially breaking where Sadie did right around the 50% way, 50% mark of the map. And it's just Mori to hold on, but hold on. There goes Mori as well, but Begel has also dropped his combo in the meantime. Seeing a lot more struggles than we would have thought, but Mori holding on for as long as he did without a combo to match him on the other side does mean Alabama do come out to a nice 130k score lead, and YTK also recovering nicely. And it does look like the alt map will pan out just like how the previous alt map did. Bit of a tendency that we see in alt maps. It's either quite close, or one team is just a little bit better enough to consistently make the difference. Now, Martin finds a couple more misses, but I don't think there's anything to be said about this map anymore. They're going to be trade. YTK going to be dropping the big combo on the side of Alabama, so Mockingjay will have a little bit of free reign at the end of this map, but the score difference being what it is, 150,000. Not going to be enough time for Mockingjay to pull things back. As you can see in those pie charts in the upper rights of each player's screens, we are basically at the end of the map. And yeah, Alabama, breakpoint consolidated, a quick 1-2 punch on the alt maps, and it is quite the nice opening to this match for them. Gonna be a quick pick for the DT1 and a pivot to some high AR mechanics. Probably going to be favoring players like Trex, Dead Zone, and Begel. You know, probably just your straight up 3 strongest players on the team. Of course, Dead Zone being a former 3-digit. Gonna have those high SR mechanics, meaning this map should just be a breeze for him. And Begel, all-rounder. We're hoping he's derusted enough to play this well. He has been in for both maps so far, so should just see him in for another. And Trex finally finding a map pick that he can be in for as well. Apparently he is quite good at precision, so maybe we'll see something like a Nomad 5 or a Hard Rock 2 later on. But DT1 also well within his wheelhouse as a name player. Not a big fan of the tapping, and there are some bursts in this map, some quints into triples, but that is just the extent of any of the finger control difficulty, and it's also at a pretty comfortable 233 BPM. It's not like we're upwards of 250 or anything where you really need some DT specialists who can also do a bit of the burst speed. And yeah, Trex even getting called out in the lobby chat as John Precision. Thank you, Faithy. I don't know if I'm allowed to give many love you twos out here, but I think I can slide you one under the table here. We are on a solo cast after all. A little bit of a chill vibes cast despite it being Major League. Of course, this match is for elimination, so maybe not as chill for the players as they would like. This being the lower bracket of the round of 32, and Alabama fighting for their best placement yet, only having gone down 0-2 in these past couple years, the only 2 years that they've played so far. Colorado, they do have a bit of a more storied history, making it all the way to 9th through 12th back in 2023, seeding 14th. Back then they did have a little bit of a different roster. Some players who went on to play higher ranked tournaments, namely looking at Andy WG, seen him in Big Boy USC this year. We are into the DT1, however. It is just a DT1, exactly what you expect. Alabama should be pretty good on this as well. You know, Mari, of course, able to play anything and everything, and iTater, this is the aim mechanics that he should be really comfortable on. Faithy, of course, going to be really good on any sort of DT, but maybe the aim a little bit too much, as he does lean towards the tapping side of the DT mechanics. And you look at the other side of the aisle here, it is Begel and Trex. It is not dead zoned. Instead, it's going to be Ewat. Normally a Nomad player, so a little bit surprised to see him on the high AR, but he does look very comfortable. 99% accuracy. He will finally go down at the end of that little stream. 9-0 burst, and actually Trex also dropping some combo here as well. They do have a nice buffer built out for themselves, just under 400,000 score, and Begel is holding the line nicely at the moment, especially as Faithy going to be dropping his recovery. So now it's just the recoveries of iTater and Mari to try and pull things back. This map still has a little bit more fight to it, but iTater with that miss is making things a lot harder for Alabama. And at a certain point does just become a question of, do you have the score potential on your entire team to bring back the deficit that is already there, even if the other team gained no more score? And I think we are quickly reaching that point of no return for Alabama, as Begel is running away with this FC. Ewat is now down at a mid to high 98%, and yeah, not the biggest combo, but there goes the combo of Mari. Speaking of combos, and it was the last hope for Alabama at any semblance of a comeback. I mean, I think that ship had long sailed with the score difference as large as it is. And Colorado, after a bit of a slip up with the Nomad 3 pick early, do find their first point on the board off the backs of a perfect FC from Begel. And of course, some very nice supporting scores. Trex saying we all suck together. Isn't that a mood for a lobby score like that? T1 also probably a bit on the easier side of the pool, despite the 10.3, but so straightforward in its mechanics, other than the AR. It really does feel like it's just an AR check of, hey, can you play 10.3? Yes or no? And if you can't play 10.3, then it's going to be you know, a pretty comfortable FC. We do see a Nomad 5 pick coming out, but it's into John Precision. But hold on a sec, he's saying in the lobby this AR kind of booms him. So maybe a bit of a surprisingly effective angle for Alabama. I'm not too sure who's going to be in for this one, but I do think Itator does have quite decent no-mod mechanics. And being an aim player, he should be quite comfortable here. Also, U-Bag for the lower AR, although I'm not sure how comfortable they are on the small circles. I mean, maybe the low AR is just enough to justify putting them in here, but they usually do just play the easy hidden and the easy halftime hidden. That is their main thing. Incredibly low ARs, nothing above AR5 usually. I mean, they do say they can't play stuff other than ridiculously low and ridiculously high ARs. But you shouldn't believe in them on that. I do know that they're quite capable. Excuse me. I do know that they're quite capable of playing AR8 no-mod. Gonna be joining them is YTK and Faithy. Not the prime suspects I would have for this one, but I think this is one of those maps where it's just kind of another toss-up between these teams. None of these players are quite known for tapping, and I think it's just Alabama looking at their team sheet saying, hey, we have some really good locals on this, and saying, you know what, pick it. Trex is going to get low AR gapped. And low AR gapped, he will be, as going to be stepping out for this one. In his place will be Begel and 1X. Another reading player, and for the AR8 comfort, and then Mockingjay to round them out for the gimmick roster. It's gonna be quickly just come down to Mockingjay versus Ilbag on the FCs, but Ilbag, easy player and easy halftime hidden player. Not exactly known for their ability to act even the simplest of things, and we do see that in play. 89 accuracy on OD 8.5. Now, the recoveries are coming along nicely for both sides, but it really is that accuracy difference making the difference right now, as it's over 100,000 score in the favor of Colorado, despite the combos being relatively even. And on top of that, it's also going to be down at Faithy, down at 91% accuracy, maybe not the most comfortable on the low AR, probably just in for the comfort on the high CS. And YTK, the highest accuracy for his team at 94%. Meanwhile, Mockingjay, a very comfortable 97. And yeah, just based off the accuracy alone, it's going to be rough for Alabama to try and take this one, especially with Ilbag missing into the ending. And yeah, as soon as that happened, the score lead just explodes, and we're quickly going from 200k to 300k and almost 500k in the blink of an eye. So yeah, maybe not the best of picks there, not quite having someone who's specialized enough in the no-mod precision, the no-mod hyper precision to be precise. Colorado having that gimmick player in Mockingjay, who's able to play this weird mix of crazy stats. Right. We do have some news from Faithy saying that some fun facts about Seidu and YTK, saying they sound the same, play the same skill sets, and play the same inputs. By inputs, I'm guessing they mean like if they alt or single tap, and if they play tablet or mouse. Do have a new skill set being explored for Colorado here, as they pick into the DT3. This is the highest BPM map in the pool in terms of the actual normal BPM of the map. Give me 261 BPM bursts and a little bit of quote-unquote finger control, if you can even call it that. Just some back-to-back bursts with slider or kick sliders spaced in between. On that note, we should just see Sadie and YTK in for the side of Alabama, but and I mean, obviously Faith. Like this has to be said. It is the speed map of the pool. There's no way you're playing without Faith on this one. A little bit surprised to see iTater and Marian for this one, especially iTater, given the lack of aim requirements in this map compared to the DT2, which does actually have a little bit of aim, but I guess they can also tap quite nicely. So we'll see how they fare on this one. On the side of Colorado, still Dead Zone staying out of the lobby. He did top score most maps he played in tryouts while having some questionable AC, but maybe feeling the match nerves, not quite able to translate that combo game onto the big stage, especially with the added pressure of an elimination match, and we are getting right into things with the DNB DT. Instead, it's going to be Ewat, again, coming in to cover some DT mechanics. OneX also in as a tapping specialist, and it's going to be Beggle to round out the roster. Continuing what has basically been a purple lobby up to this point. It will be iTater the first drop on the other side, going to be trade out by OneX not too long after. But it is the ever so slightest of score leads, around 100,000 score. And actually that's quite a significant score lead. Might be a bit miffed at that break from Mari as we go into the break, but actually looking pretty good in favor of Alabama here. OneX writing a little something in the bottom left of his screen as he sits down at 88 AC, 87 now, excuse me. And his two teammates sitting at 94 and 93 on Beggle and Ewat respectively. Meanwhile, we do have Faithy, of course, the speed specialist, going to be really comfortable on this map, 97% AC. And Mari, who did unfortunately lose his combo earlier, still sitting at a quite handsome 95 AC, but that does continue to go down. It was 96 earlier and continuing to drop more and more accuracy after his miss. And this map is already almost over. Mari, with that one miss halfway through the map, going to be the deciding factor. As unfortunate as it is, as ever since then, that score lead has only gone in the favor of Colorado. And yeah, they will be taking another one of their own picks. We do have the next pick going to Alabama. The alt map's working out for them, but there's not too many alt maps left in the pool. Unfortunately, they did ban out the DT alt and the Hard Rock 3, which is not really alt, but it's rhythm, so you could argue that it's alt adjacent. But I would say the main feature of that map is if you can hit the slider spam section in the middle or not. So yeah, there is a bit of a question as to where they go. Not taking any points after going up 2-0 early, giving the lead back to Colorado as they take 3 in a row. It's going to be the flex one. Bit of a anti-mod action, CS5 AR8. Easy mod multiplier on this one, not so kind, as they do go for anti-mod maps. Just going to be a low 1.5, capping your score out at 750k for the SS, so likely just better off taking the hidden or the hard rock. It would be the hidden in the case of an easy replacement. Of course, this is Force Mod, so everyone having it take a mod, but this is also the easiest map in the pool by a long shot. You know, sitting in a base 4.76 stars. Some people are saying this belongs in the round of 64, and we don't even have a round of 64 in 5USC. But it also does make it a quite comfortable pick for lower seeds. For not only when they're picking into the higher seeds in the upper bracket matches, but also just as a generally comfortable pick in the lower bracket as well for some of these teams with a little bit less firepower. Now, I do expect to see Mari on the Hidden Hard Rock. If he does anything else, I'm going to be a little bit upset if we don't see him in here for that one. YTK in for the Hidden. Should hopefully be settled on their in-match nerves after their earlier mishaps on the Hidden 3. And Faithy in as well, most likely for the Hard Rock. Of course, they are just one of those high firepower players in general, doing quite well for themselves in the 5WC tryouts. On the other side, we do see the duo of Trex and Begel. This does allow Trex to take his Hard Rock precision. So one potential drawback of this, hoping for maybe an unlucky miss or maybe Mari to match the FC with the Hidden Hard Rock. A little bit of extra score multiplier on that one. Gonna be Mockingjay on the Hidden, and Begel, I assume that's also a Hard Rock. And yes, it will be the Hard Rock, and basically all the expected mods, just waiting to see the Hidden Hard Rock from Mari in the upper right. And there it is. After some more mishaps from Bancho, we do see that Hidden Hard Rock from Mari. And if you are expecting lots of FCs on this map with how easy it is, the Hidden Hard Rock is definitely a good choice if you want that extra mod multiplier. And especially if you're just super confident that you can match an FC from Trex, Precision Goats. But it's going to be YTK, the first to break on the Hidden, not having the best of times so far in this match. And there goes Mari to follow right behind him as well. And that is a quick early lead to Colorado. Of course, Mari's Hidden Hard Rock being more so preference than any sort of strategic choice for an extra mod multiplier. It's just Faithy to hold on with a 93 AC FC into the break, and yeah, this is looking pretty bad for Alabama at the moment. Trex still on the 97 FC, and Mockingjay on 99 FC on the Hidden. And that's going to come out to about a 200,000 score lead. Here we go into some more linears and symmetricals. This old style of mapping, not exactly the most comfortable, not a lot of sharp angles, although quite visually pleasing. Some very nice symmetrical aesthetics. Still Faithy holding on, but it does have to go up against effectively 3 FCs on the other side. Begel looks to have missed on the first few notes of the map, but basically an FC, we'll call it that here. And we are getting into the ending of this map, already 450,000 score or so in the favor of Colorado. And yeah, I don't think there's any room to bring this one back for Alabama at this point. Yeah, it's just a question of how many FCs we'll see them close out. answer to that is 2, as Begel did find some misses, unfortunately, at the start. We cannot call that an FC when you do have 1 miss. Maybe if it were a slider break, I could have, shoved that one under the rug, but not for a miss. Faithy, the only FC on the other side, as unfortunately the force mod not quite working out, or the flex one, anti-mod force mod. YTK looking really good in the accuracy department, only 4x100s to match that of Mockingjay, but unfortunately finding 3 more misses. And that alongside Mori's failure to FC will be a breakpoint, which has been pre-consolidated with that DT3. So is Colorado's pick to put themselves on match point, and they choose the DT2. And they did just have the double FCs on the DT3. Players outside of Faithy not looking, I mean, they did look quite comfortable. We will give them that. Just a little bit of accuracy troubles on the third players of each side, 1x and Itator on that map. But other than that, only 1 slider break in the middle from Mari that really determined that map. It was really just that 1 miss in the middle. Halfway through, capping his score. Faithy did also have the highest accuracy in the lobby by a good bit there, just over 2%. So this could be a bit of a closer affair than we're expecting. On some more tapping, of course, this map does have a little bit more aim, a little bit more spacing. So it does require a bit of an aim consistency element, some comfort on the 240 BPM beyond just can you shred. We do have the rosters in the lobby, GLHF's in chat as proof. And it looks like we'll be seeing a run back of the same roster for DT3 for Colorado. And likewise on the side of Alabama, it's going to be Faithy, Mari, and Itator once again. So Alabama feeling pretty confident in their ability to correct their earlier errors on the DT3. As we are just waiting for Tater to also load into the map. Quick panic button should solve that, as there is enough of an intro before we get into the thick of things. And here we go. This first KI section, or intense sections in the first half of the map, do go on for quite a bit. A little bit of an intro, catching out Ewot and Tater, gonna be trading out the misses, but we're gonna be looking at those accuracies as well. Faithy at 96, Begel at 98, and 1x at 90 as well. But here we go into the intense sections as well. This first half of the map is quite intense. Lots of aim and lots of tapping mechanics as well. The spacing is also a little bit bigger than the DT3, so you do have to be careful, not just on the aim, but also on the burst, making sure you're flowing them correctly. And there goes Mari, there goes Itator as well. Gonna be traded out by Begel and 1x, however, and now it's just Faithy up against Ewot in the 1v1. Faithy with a little bit higher combo, but the accuracy ever so slightly in Ewot's favor. It's not gonna. It should put them at about the same, but it does look like the extra score does go in the favor of Faithy, thanks to the extra combo that he has. But the accuracies on the other players in the lobby, especially Begel up at 97, will put the score ever so slightly in the favor of Colorado at the moment, but it's still very much so on the next section. There goes Begel, gonna be traded out by Itator and Mari as well, so still keeping the lead on the side of Colorado. Faithy holding on to the FC. How long can he hold? 1x also gonna find a chain miss on one of those bursts. I was talking about the flow aim, and it will take out 1x's combo, but I think Alabama just missing a little too much in this map, and Ewot holding on to just barely good enough accuracy. And although 21k is the ending scoreline, is the difference at the end of the day, 21k is enough. to give the point to Colorado and to bring them to match point. And Ewart with a reverse choke going to be saving his team from a little bit of a stumble. As almost tripping over themselves a little bit, but do eventually find their way to match point here. Colorado going up 5-2 against Alabama, as you can see on the screen for our Raiders from the B stream. It's going to be a hidden 2 pick from Alabama here. Finally attacking the perceived weakness from the easy 1 ban earlier on in the match. Colorado first picking Nomad 3 earlier, not going their way, and Alabama following it up with another alt pick, but from then on it was all Colorado map after map. They have won 5 in a row at this point and looking to make it 6. But if they want to make that happen, it'll have to happen on the hidden 2. Silver Orbit by Cygnus. And this map is quite difficult. Definitely one of the harder maps in the pool. Very specialist pilled. If you are not a hidden specialist, or sorry, a hidden 2 specialist, you're going to struggle. If you're just an all-rounder trying to fill for your team who normally is able to play the hidden 2s and fill quite nicely, put up some good scores, there's going to be a noticeable difference between you and the guy who just plays hidden all day, every day. Hidden flow, already a difficult skill set on its own. Usually seen in the hidden 3 slot with a normal AR above 9. And now we're just taking that and cranking the AR down to 8. In addition to that, this map has some really mean linear flow. Some longer streams and some shorter bursts with some weird rhythms, as is custom for Cygnus maps. But we do have a couple of players who do play hidden all day on the side of Alabama. Looking at Sadhu, looking at Y2K. Mari probably just forced to fill in this one, but also looking at the other side of the aisle, we do have Mockingjay put up a really good score on the other gimmick map of this pool that we've seen so far, the Nomad 5. Of course, a little bit different flavor of gimmick, but he has shown proficiency on not just hidden reading gimmick, but also precision and Nomad low AR gimmick. So we'll have to see just how deep his gimmick skill set runs in this one. Looking pretty good to start things off, as he is accompanied by Dead Zone, looking for another combo game to come in and close things out for his team. Also accompanied by 1X. Reading player who also plays tapping, so he should be pretty comfortable on this one. And Mockingjay also looking incredibly comfortable. Look at that accuracy. Look at him go 99% into some of the harder flow sections here, however, and he will be caught off. 2 patterns in a row, finding some chain misses, and that will leave the score at a knife's edge. Once again, an entire reset on the full bottom row, and there goes Dead Zone as well. So many chain misses coming out. Y2K, the only semblance of a combo at the moment, and everyone is struggling on this map. And this map only gets harder as it goes on. There is a little bit of a cooldown in the ending section, but for now, you have to hold through this hard middle section to get there. And these patterns, these zigzags are so hard. It's so hard to just feel when your cursor has to break this way and that. And all these players struggling so much. It does look like Sadhu, however, has managed to come out on top, finding some combo for himself. Can he hold into the ending? It is already 200,000 score. I think he has done more than enough despite the break there on that stream. And I can finally take a moment to breathe, as no combos into the ending, nothing left but a 250 or so score advantage for Alabama after giving up 5 straight points to Colorado. Alabama finally finding one for themselves as that score lead climbs above 300,000 into the ending. Yeah, seeing just a little too many struggles on the side of Colorado there, and Seidu coming up pretty big with the combo in probably just the hardest section of the map. Another thing we saw was the crazy amount of chain misses. Very chain missable, of course, when you have hidden flow normally, and then you just slap AR8 on top of that, and you just get chain misses out the wazoo. And it is Colorado's pick. A maximum of 2 more picks left to be had in this match. As Alabama do need a break point and then a consolidation of their own to force tiebreaker. And Colorado will continue the tapping train into the Nomad 2, finding lots of success on the DT3. A little bit of a closer call on the DT2. And yeah, that DT3 wasn't exactly as close as it looks either in the scoreline. You know, you see 300k, but that entire score gap is made up by a single slider break from Mari halfway through the map, and unfortunately capping his score. That if that slider break had happened almost anywhere else, we would have seen a lot closer of a scoreline. And this, like, on that note, this does feel like a pretty good map for Alabama despite Colorado's successes. You have Faithy, who can definitely play this level of Accel Decel flow aim. You have, I mean, who have we seen so far for the tapping for them? We've seen Mari and Itator, who are, I mean, Mari's just really well-rounded. And we are going to see that duo in once again. Itator probably a little bit more happy about the lower BPM, so he can flex on some flow aim. Normally more of an aim mechanics player, but maybe a little bit more happy about this BPM. I will say it is potentially stamina intensive. I mean, I don't think many people have trouble playing 174 BPM, but some of these streams do go on for quite a while. And it does look like we will be seeing a little bit of a roster switch up here for Colorado. 1x and Ewat still staying in, but instead of Begal, we will see Mockingjay step into the lobby. Maybe the Accel Decel elements of the streams playing a part in that decision. But Colorado hoping to close things out on their own pick. Otherwise, we will have to see them try to do it on Alabama's pick. And if that doesn't work out, then I mean, we all know what's waiting in the wings there at the end of a match that ends in a tie. Mari going to be the first to break in the intro, as this map does kind of just start on you. It doesn't really give you too much time to ease in. It does have a quite big flow pattern right out of the gates, and only now letting you ease into this map here with some general mechanics. But we will be right back into the flow soon enough after Itator not going to be happy about that miss right there. It was traded out earlier by 1x, but here we go into the big flow sections. The Accel Decel, going to be seeing some act drops from 1x, but we need to see those misses if Alabama wants to stay alive. Colorado must break. And doesn't look like they will quite yet. Already 150,000 score, climbing up to 200 as they still holding on to their 2 FCs from Mockingjay and Ewat, holding nicely through that big flow section, and that was one of the longer streams. Into the break, 220,000 score is the name of the game. Alabama need to claw this back to keep their hopes alive in 5USC 2026. Into some finger control is this next section. A little bit of aim as well could catch some of these players on the other side, but it will not, and in fact it's going to catch out Itator, unfortunately dropping his recovery as well. It's just on Mari on the reverse choke and Faithy on the FC, but they have to deal with the same as well as an additional FC on the side of Colorado, and we're quickly running out of time here. It looks like this might just be the end of the road, and with Faithy and Mari finding the big chain misses on the big spacing, this is coming up big for Colorado as they will find a big win in the lower bracket. And a seeding upset of 7th seeds Alabama, you came in with a bigger roster than ever before, bigger and better, and your seeding followed behind you, but this year is not your year. Your placements will not follow. Another year of 5USC and another year of 0-2 as Colorado advance to the lower bracket quarterfinals. No tiebreaker will be had here as Colorado close things out 6-3, and we must give them their flowers. Congratulations to Begel, Mockingjay, 1X, Dead Zoned, Ewat, and Trex. All 6 players putting in their fair share of the effort to bring this team over the line. Looked a bit sketchy at the start after losing 2 quick alt picks to Alabama, but taking things back in very nice fashion, winning 5 picks in a row. Stumbling a bit on the hidden 2, but bringing things over the line quite comfortably with Nomad 2, and they will be advancing in that loser's bracket to face the loser of SoCal versus Massachusetts A. We will see that match in the coming days of this weekend. But for now, Colorado, until next weekend, you can rest well, and Alabama, unfortunately, we'll be seeing next year. That will be all for me, as we do have to close things out here. We do have more matches coming to the A stream in just a minute. 3 UTC, that's going to be Nevada versus Oregon. Don't go anywhere, as we have Shy Cryo coming in with her second cast. It's going to be a good one. And then after that, of course, for UTC, that's going to be Tennessee A versus Virginia. All of the Major League action packed at the end of the day for some good high-level excitement. That's going to be brought to you by Kevin and Jay Katie. So stay tuned for those. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Thank you for watching this one. See you guys later.